Welcome. Here are some experiments that you can perform with very telling results and conclusions. Try to list 10 numbers from your mobile phone from memory. How many did you get? Another one is to ask yourself, how long does it take you to check your mobile phone just after waking up? If it's less than 10 minutes, it's very interesting. The third one is to ask and tabulate how many hours do you spend per day on social media. If it's more than 3 hours, again you're in trouble. The fourth one is to look at how you interact with your mobile phone or any high-tech gadget or device when you are having breakfast, lunch with family, or having dinner. Do you check your social media during those occasions? If yes, then you have a very serious social media dependence or addiction. You need an essence solution to that addiction. We want to ask a number of questions. Are there some advantages of social media? Did you become a social media dependent or addict voluntarily? Or you were manipulated by some unseen forces? Are you aware of those forces? How is social media addiction well crafted? Was it planned? Is it unhealthy to your mind and to your thinking? And how can you live in this world full of this type of technology and survive safely? There are some advantages of social media. A belief that used to accompany the advance of social media was that it would enhance greater connectivity to our loved ones, to friends, colleagues, and work, and even to strangers who would benefit from social media. But have we been manipulated, or were you manipulated, or you voluntarily become a social media user or dependent? Is social media bad for your mental health? The nature of our civilization is such that we are prone to vulnerabilities and manipulation through technology. A very interesting definition of technology implies that technology is a system or a gadget that takes away knowledge from us or from our natural pool and deposits it in an artificial resource or source where we cannot easily control it or use it or access it, because it will then either be licensed and monopolized or distorted and changed. So same with social media. What are the forces that are behind social media? How does it work? The mechanism on how social media becomes addictive is because its news produces dopamine in our brains. What is dopamine? Dopamine is a neurotransmitter in the brain, a component of the basal ganglia motor loop, as well as the neurotransmitter responsible for controlling the exchange of information from one brain area to another brain area. It plays a vital role in certain behaviors such as movement, cognition, pleasure, and motivation. It makes us happy and encourages us to repeat the experience again and again. That is why you find yourself checking your social media apps, because you need dopamine, you need pleasure, you need happiness. Listening to music, exercising, eating or drinking something that tastes good, or even having sex is highly dependent on dopamine. So too social media. So you can see that we are vulnerable here, because there are other issues that come on social media, like social inclusion and the manipulation to be like the rest of other people. Although we are wired for social inclusion, to live happily, and to know that social exclusion is very unpleasant and painful, it is smarter to be part of our peer group for affirmation only when we decide to do so freely. Neuroscience studies recently have shown and indicated that strong response from the brain's reward system through positive social feedback on social media platform is heavy. But it is there at the cost of increased use of that social media. It's worthy to be the black sheep in the family. Social media is a well-planned and crafted unhealthy mental waste that uses addiction. Modern technology, using aesthetically designed devices and media, gradually cause you to develop a very strong habit of checking and rechecking your device or devices, seeking for information, yet you are actually seeking for a reward. And sometimes you get depressed if you do not get any responses, maybe to your post or to your interaction with others on social media. In psychology, this is known as intermittent reinforcement. It is one of the most effective ways to form new behavior and addictions. Who else would know this? And they use it as a manipulative tool. It is the rulers of the earth and the high-tech companies that they form and connect with other non-human entities that are running this world, especially from the angle of the God shatter or God set, is the one that is manipulating these secret rulers of the world. So they launch campaigns secretly, and they plan those campaigns secretly and use media manipulation life cycle systems for your response, for industry and politicians and activists and journalists to mitigate their needs and thereby adjust society, adjust the vulnerable folks that live on the earth and benefit from these. Social media is a well-planned system. It has not come by through a natural way. If you read the book 1984 by George Orwell, you discover a number of propaganda, physical control, mental control, mind control, and totalitarianism and wealth and all these other topics that have come to dominate our society today, inclusive of social media and our interaction with it. There's a term there prolified in 1984 by George Orwell, a term that is used to describe shallow, trashy books, movies, music, and newspapers containing only sport and sensational crime and astrology and useless news garbage with sentimental songs and music produced by ProLisec, a section of the Ministry of Truth, Ministry of Information and Technology, whose job is to keep the proles sedated, zombified, stultified, stupefied, addicted to junk, to ensure they never stray anywhere near knowledge, anywhere near truth. The Ministry of Truth and Propaganda's function is to lie, just like all political leaders, religious leaders, business leaders, and media leaders. So ProLifeed is a system where you are kept looking on your social media device and you will never notice what is happening. Therefore, how can you survive social media dependence? By using ancient solution. Know thyself is the first mantra that you should repeat to yourself daily. Without knowledge of self, without understanding the working and function of this body, this flesh and body, and the soul in this body, you will never remember knowing thyself. You must then know that and keep your doors to your soul well guarded and sometimes locked, because the body is the temple of the gods within you. Therefore it is said, man, know thyself. That's the first point to liberate yourself from this dependence. Another way, or other ways, eliminate social media manipulation and their negative impact on you is once you know that you are addicted to it, you have to digitally detox yourself from them. And you can then proceed into prayers, reading scriptures that affirm your ancestry. Not the Bible, not the Torah, not the Quran, not the Gita, but scriptures, African scriptures that affirm who you are. And you must repeat affirmations, positive thoughts in mind every day, and use these mantras so that you are always reminded that you are a divinity and that you are a great human being walking on the earth, and that you cannot allow mental garbage to be your brain feed anytime, anywhere. It should not dominate you. You must then learn to bring Mahati and live under Mahati in your life. Experience peace, experience order and balance and tranquility and righteousness and justice and harmony. We will deal with harmony because it's one aspect that you can employ. You must master the art of moderation and balance that which you receive on social media and how many hours you spend on social media. If you spend more hours, it's just unhealthy. You must use moderation on the side of Mahati, because Mahati says you will be free if you learn to be neutral and follow the instructions of your heart without letting things perturb you. And this is the way of Mahati: balance and harmony. Remember, when researchers and thinkers in modern times looked at social media, they discovered that they can have a hierarchy of media sites from best to worst. And this included that the most positive one you can interact with is YouTube, because you can select and watch what you want. And then Twitter, maybe Facebook, Snapchat, and the least important of them all, which is the most negative, has been listed as Instagram, which is on number 5 on this 5. Let us remember that in ancient times, our ancestors in Hamit used Set, who represented fire, to transform their lives. That is the negative aspect of Mahati, is faith. If you become an adept, you can know how to use anything for positivity to your soul and purification of your soul. That's why our ancestors knew that, and they used Mahati. At the end of time, our ancestors said all the varieties of the cosmos and the galaxies and everything else, including the divinities, would revert to the undifferentiated condition of time before creation, with everything merging back into the primeval waters of potentiality in order to prepare to start another big cycle. But if you are an adept and a wise one, you must aim to survive this closure and jump across the chasm. I shall say no more. Social media dependence has ancient solutions, and Mahati should dominate that. You must like and share a lot of that which builds you up. We will be celebrating our Happy New Year for 6259 on the 22nd, 23rd of September next month. Let us celebrate together. You can send us an email on join@marifado if you want to receive a module of how you can perform and celebrate at home. Subscribe to our channel, Hamiti Hebrew Ethics, and remember, you must be careful and smart on what you do and how you interact with social media. Do not be enslaved by social media or be an addict of social media. This preacher Rabbi L.M. Timizulu saying, till we meet again, tatenda, siyabonga, enkos, asante sana.